So we'll be starting the session soon. So please do, in the meantime, you can write in the questions that you have that you want Dr. Soin to answer. Please do send us the questions that you would want to ask her on the chat box. So ma'am, we'll start now.
Yes, let's start.
So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Quint's highly anticipated webinar with one of the foremost experts in the field of dermatology, Dr. Simal Soin. I'm very thrilled to also welcome all the Quint members who've joined us here for this very special event. Now, popular culture will have you believe that, caring for your skin is just another fluffy ritual. And they'll also tell you that it's just an act of vanity, right? But actually, like Dr. Soin will tell you very soon, there are just so many reasons why you should care for your skin and why caring for your skin is actually healthcare. Now, when I was talking about this webinar to a lot of my friends, a lot of them told me the same thing. Like they actually came back to me and said, but caring for your skin is not really healthcare. Now, these are people who follow like a good 8-point skincare routine, both in the mornings and at nights. But let me tell you that caring for your skin, which is the largest organ in your body, is actually extremely vital for your overall health. At FIT, the Quint's health vertical, we understand this better than a lot of others out there. We understand how challenging it can be for you to access, say, authentic, scientific information around skincare when there is so much misinformation out there, so many viral hacks, just all kinds of reels just right there on your mobile phones. So this is precisely why we've partnered with someone like Dr. Soin, who can actually help us separate the wheat from the chaff as it is. Now, before we begin our AMA session, I want to give a quick introduction of Dr. Soin, who actually, needs no introduction at all. With extensive training in London and Cambridge University for many, many years, Dr. Soin has garnered over 20 years of expertise in the field of dermatology. She is a professional who is known for a rare blend of experience, innovation, competence, and international repute. She is the founder and CEO of AAYNA, which is a state-of-the-art clinic both in Delhi and in Ludhiana. And she's also the chief medical officer of Clinically. Now, I've been dealing with doctors for the last 2 years now during COVID and now, and I can actually tell you that Dr. Soin's affability really sets her apart and placing her on a league that is absolutely of her own. So thank you so much, Dr. Soin, for joining us on this webinar. It's an absolute pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you so much, Maitri, for the very kind introduction. But it's a pleasure to be here with everyone. And I want to say that I think traditionally, everybody always has considered that taking care of your skin is vanity. And you're so concerned about how you look or the way that your skin looks. But I promise you, I think things are changing now. It's not a throwaway wellness habit anymore. Think about it. It's the largest organ of your body. It's your first line of defense against the outside world, the environment, your bacteria. And more than anything else, there's other interesting things which you will now realize when I tell you that it forms your first line of defense. So it gives clues to your overall health. When you have jaundice, the first thing you notice is yellowing of the skin or the eyes. Then, like people, and, so it gives clues to systemic disease. People who have lupus systemic lupus erythematosus, which is an autoimmune disease, you will see that they sometimes get a butterfly rash on the face, which is the first sign of knowing that, oh, there is something going on in the body. Then clinically, you sometimes see people with acne and features like that. It'll give you a sense that this person will have PCOD. So it's way, way more than just being vain, taking care of your skin. Although having said that, over long years of being a skin specialist, I have to say, I really think if you look good, you feel good. And I truly believe looking after your skin, beautification is a form of healing.
So we have the doctor with us just for an hour today, but we'll be dropping in her coordinates on the chat box. So please feel free to get in touch with her. We'll be dropping her website, her Instagram handles, and all ways that you can reach her both at her clinic and via her website. So without much delay, I actually want to jump into the questions. Now, we've had a bunch of questions already from our members who've joined us today, and we've collated them. But I want to tell everyone who's there online with us that please do feel free to drop in your questions in the chat.
Please do.
Yeah,
and I'm happy to answer all of them.
Yeah, and we'll get them answered. So, ma'am, the first question that I actually want to start is a question that we've received like so many times over the course of promotion is how does one determine the type of skin that they have and what kind of role does it play in choosing the right skincare products?
Essentially, there are 5 skincare types. If you look at it from an academic point of view, you can have oily skin, you can have dry skin, you can have combination skin, you can have normal skin, or you can have sensitive skin. That's really just oily skin. You will know because your skin feels oily and it's shiny, if you don't wash it enough. And it's typically common in people with acne-prone, sebaceous skin. Dry skin, when you wash your face, it'll feel stretchy, flaky. Normal combination skin is one of the most common types of skin, I feel. In this time, people, when you ask them what's your skin type, they'll say this area is oily and the rest of it is dry. Normal skin it's fine. You don't feel any kind of discomfort and it's just hydrated. Sensitive skin is, when you go step out in the sun or you use any product, it reacts to everything. So essentially, it's these, and there's that old blotting paper test which people used to do. But I feel like most people know their skin type now,
So my next question is actually from a member, and we have heard like really different opinions. Personally, I have also heard like a couple of years ago, I had like the worst possible acne breakout. And some people would tell me that wash your face at least 5-6 times a day. And others would tell me never wash your face at all. So like, what is the right answer? Like, how many times do you actually wash your face at a time like this, especially in summertime when almost the entire country is having such a huge wave of heat all across?
So the magic number for face washing is 2. I have to say you wash it in the morning and the evening. That's typically what. But of course, I think more than that, it's the kind of cleanser that's important depending on your skin type. So typically, it's a good idea to wash your face once in the morning and once at night for most normal dry skin types. Occasionally, if your skin's too oily and you feel that there's a lot of sebum secretion and you feel you need to keep that at bay, even 3 times is good enough. But overwashing your skin is not a good idea because you're depleting the skin of essential oils and it tends to become dry. That's why, interestingly, I see a lot of acne-prone skins. People will always overwash and it becomes dry and then it becomes worse. So it becomes like a vicious cycle. And an interesting thing is they need to moisturize as well. They need to keep it hydrated. So 2 to 3 maximum if you have oily skin types.
This question is from Chittaranjan Gupta, who is our premium member. So he's saying that my hands become very dry with constant washing. I wash my hands with soap, yet they become very dry. How do I take care of them?
So again, if you keep washing, this is known fact, it's like the same as a face, and lots of people do, especially post-COVID, we all do wash our hands actually very often. But you've got to make sure that you're not always using a harsh soap. And while, sometimes you can just have a light cleanser and then you just got to moisturize with the right kind of moisturizer. Moisturize every time you wash your hands because otherwise, and that's one of the commonest problems we face when people will actually start feeling a lot of dryness of the hands. So it's important to keep moisturizing after every wash. And don't use very harsh soaps. Try and use cleansers mostly. They do the job equally well, I promise.
I'm sure this is a question that, you might have answered to the point of this thing. But what is the right layering of your care products? Is it like toner, sunscreen, serum, or how does it work? And if you can simplify it for us.
That's very like cleanser, toner, moisturizer, very beautician type thing. But as a doctor, I'll tell you, always layer from lighter to heavier. So if you're using a serum, that's the first thing that needs to go. Then a moisturizer, and then a sunscreen. So it's always lightest to the heaviest. That's how it typically works. So your serum needs to obviously go in because the penetration needs to be adequate. And then otherwise, if you have a heavier product on top, it's never going to help. The serum will never penetrate into the skin.
So interestingly, one thing that we noticed during the promotions is a lot of men also reached out to us, asking a lot of skincare questions. And one common theme was, a lot of them working from home are wondering how many times should they be wearing sunscreen when they are working from home? And also, how long can they sort of skip it? Is it like mandatory for them to wear it every day?
So, while we're talking about sunscreens, it's a longer conversation, obviously. But, so there's two kinds of rays. We've got ultraviolet B, ultraviolet E. So that the ultraviolet, most of us know, it's basically causes sunburn. And that's what sunscreens protect us from, typically when we're outdoors. But the ultraviolet B is what causes more damage because it tends to penetrate into the deeper layers of the skin, causes more wrinkling, causes more aging. So if you have a room where you're sitting in, you're working all day and you've got windows, so it can even penetrate through windows. It can penetrate on a cloudy day, which is why sunscreens are also needed for cloudy days. But now it's so many of us using devices like our home devices, like our computers, LED devices. Blue light is also a great form of, it does damage the skin. So if you are very concerned about that, it's a good idea to wear sunscreens indoors also. It's really like they are perfectly safe to use sunscreen even indoors. So yes, I recommend people who are indoors and they sit in big offices where there's a lot of light coming in. It's a good idea to wear sunscreens.
One of our viewers who's following the live on YouTube has just asked a question related to sunscreen. Are there some sunscreens that have ingredients that can prove to be harmful to the skin over time?
Actually, interesting. There's been a lot of studies now. Oxybenzone was an ingredient that was considered harmful in sunscreens, which was chemical sunscreens, but not really. It was found in studies on rats. So I think, you would have to use 277 times is what the studies have shown, the amount of sunscreen of what you typically use to be able to get the same side effects as what was found in higher quantities of that. So really, they've been studied, they're used over time. Chemical sunscreens are all very safe now. Everybody is cognizant of the fact that good sunscreen products should be used, especially if you're using a good product. So there's really nothing which has been proven through any studies that they're harmful.
So for viewers who are just trickling in, I would like to give a short introduction again of Dr. Simal Soin, who has expertise in the field of dermatology for over 20 years. And if you have not asked your questions, do drop in some questions on the chat box, both here on Zoom and on YouTube. One of our Quinties, Aishwarya Verma, has asked, what's the difference between retinols and retinoids? Can they be used with vitamin C product? Actually, ma'am, before you answer this, I want to ask you, this is again a very recurring question. A lot of people have also asked, what exactly does retinol do? If you can start from that and give us an insight.
So retinol is a vitamin A derivative. So it's been traditionally known for, so it does multiple functions, but traditionally it's known for keeping aging at bay, because it prevents wrinkles, fine lines. It's also helpful for pigmentation. It's helpful for acne. And a lot of it's like one of the hero skincare products of our time. That's what it does. But of course, there are various grades of it. So there is very strong ones like tretinoin, go down to retinols, retinaldehydes. And, so the only thing is that you would need your dermatologist to be able to tell you what is the right product for what and for whatever concern you're using it. But you have to be cognizant of the fact that they do cause photosensitivity. Means when you go out in the sun, if you've used the retinol in the daytime, you could get sensitivity to the sun. So, and again, it's something that, it's a nice idea for you if you start, and you can start using it in your 20s. But again, I feel sometimes people use it too much and it's overused because there's just so much information about skincare now that there needs to be a balance between using a product on your own and getting the right advice to use it.
So I want to talk a little bit more about what you just mentioned, the mountain of information that we have. Every time we open our phone, it's like we do not know what qualification people have to sort of advise us on skincare. But then these are things that are being consumed so widely. So with respect to that, are you as a dermatologist seeing like a change in the kind of people who are visiting you? Are they sort of like aware, but also are they exercising the caution that's needed? And what would you say is an ideal, how many times does a 20-something visit a dermatologist?
Oh my God, I have patients from 13 to 85 years of age. So, of course, 13 to 85. The younger ones will come with their acne issues and, their comedones. And then the 20, it's just a plethora of information now. And not just information, it's an understanding and the need to be able to take care of your skin. And it's not just just the glamour portion or the texture, but to actually just make sure that, you're taking good care of your skin. So they come for different concerns, and 20-year-olds also can, and the earlier you start taking care of your skin, the better skin you'll have in your 50s. That's definite now. Because preventative aging is really a good idea to do. And also you got to make sure. So when a basic skincare routine in your 20s, it's a good idea. It depends on the concern. If you have acne scarring, you have open pores, you have sebaceous skin, you have dry skin, of course, those are there. But the basic thing is a cleanser is important. A cleanser the kind of cleanser you determine, use also is very important, whether, using it for dry or oily skin. Like dry skin should typically have a cream cleanser. Foamy, acne skins will do well with a foamy cleanser. Then sunscreen, no compromise there. Must. Scrubbing your skin clean at night, very basic. We all know that. You just got to make sure that your skin gets to breathe at night. Lifestyle, your sleep, smoking, late nights, diet, all of those equally important. Then, in your 20s, you can start maybe a good antioxidant, maybe like vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, which again is a natural constituent of the skin, but you will see hyaluronic acid, vitamin C. The only thing is A is not equal to B is not equal to C. One vitamin C is not. So somebody may not know that methyl ascorbate might be there, but L-ascorbic acid in vitamin C is what really works. And then you need to have stable vitamin C, which needs to be in the right kind of packaging so that it doesn't sort of get destroyed or unstable over a period of time. So there are many ifs and buts, and I think eventually it is happening now. People try it and then they come to make sure that they're doing the right thing. So
we have a question on the chat. So Atar has asked, a cousin of mine is suffering from psoriasis allergy. Is there a proper treatment for it? What must he do to manage it?
So psoriasis, is it? Let me look at the chat. I have a cousin suffering from psoriasis allergy. So psoriasis is a skin disease. Yes, it is and it's not infectious. It's not contagious, but it's something which is where you get thick patches of, keratinized or raised skin mainly on the extensors of the body. So on your elbows, on your knees, and the worst kind of psoriasis in the scalp. And absolutely, we have great treatments in this day and age to treat psoriasis.
Moving on to, there are a couple of beauty and skincare related questions as well. One question, I think there was a recent study that said, how harmful gel manicures can be. So, we had a couple of people write to us and ask, how safe is it and how often can, people actually get it? Or is that is something that is dangerous that we have to be aware of?
Gel manicures?
Yeah.
I'm not a beautician, so I'm not an expert at that. But I want to say that I don't believe, I feel like, like manicures must be, again, there's a lot of huge risk of fungal infections with manicures and pedicures. So what we do is, I typically do medical manicures. So yes, gel manicures can predispose to a huge amount of fungal infections, even pedicures, in fact. So I typically believe in pedicures, which are medical pedicures, which are done without water, because all of these can harbor a lot of fungus, even if there is asepsis precautions taken.
So, ma'am, there is so much information about taking care
And
of.
also, I think the other thing that can happen is a lot of contact sensitivity can happen with gel manicures.
Yeah. So there's a lot of information on how you should take care of your skin, of your hair, but not much is out there about taking care of your body, like skin as a part of your body, the rest of the body. So Aparna Singh wants to know, is there anything specific that we should
I think, yes, of course there is. And also, I think it's because as Indians, traditionally, we always cover ourselves fully, So we one of those things, whereas in the West, you tend to wear clothes which expose a lot more body parts. So we've never, but I do believe that now people are conscious of, taking care of their body. And one of the things that I notice is that there's a lot of dryness in the body. And a lot of people experience a lot of dryness because of a lot of hot showers and sauna and steam. So it's important that, because then you deplete again the body of, moisture levels. So you've got to make sure that when you're having a shower, avoid soaps and use medicinal shower gels, which actually leave a moisture film on the skin. That is one of the concerns that I deal with a lot. And, and moisturize your body well after a shower. That is one of the common concerns that I've seen over a period of time now.
Very curious to know, why did you choose dermatology as a specialization?
I mean, it was just something I was interested in. I think aesthetics was always important to me. Growing up, even at homes and clothes and art, everything. So it was probably an extension of that, making sure that everything outside and inside looked good. So,
Also, when when I first heard of you and I was checking you out on Instagram, I noticed that you have such a huge following on social media as well. So what sort of also, how did that happen? How did you get onto social media to sort of educate?
I'm not one of those overtly social media people. It's sort of, it's something that just came, I think, naturally to me sometimes over a period of time when I realized that, a lot of younger people are doing so much social media and there's so much information. I think it's more in an effort to sort of get out there and give the right sort of advice to the best of my ability. Though, my God, my social media account can't match a lot of people there, but this is just done more from the heart and more, sort of genuinely to get some information about skincare. But I'm a fairly reluctant social media person. I'm getting better with time.
No, but your reels are also like extremely viral on skincare and everything.
Okay, good.
I hope you keep doing
I'm
these.
happy to hear that.
So we have two questions. We have two people asking the same question actually on YouTube. Is there a cure to seborrheic dermatitis? I'm not sure if I'm saying.
Seborrheic dermatitis. Yes, of course there is cures for. There is really there's treatments for everything. To keep the condition at bay is what I would say. Seborrheic dermatitis they're all part of the dandruff, the whole spectrum from dandruff to what impacts the face, a kind of eczema that causes dryness, especially on the eyebrows, the upper lids, around the corners of the nose. That is seborrheic dermatitis. And there is treatments and good treatments available nowadays to keep all of these conditions at bay.
Another question, ma'am, on the chat is my question on lichen sclerosis.
Lichen sclerosis, but I'm anxious. I want to know it will fade over time. No option. So okay. Yes, basically, a lot of these, especially in Indians, a lot of conditions that happen with the skin leave marks or patches, which is called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. And while our skin types are great, I totally believe we are very blessed because we are protected from skin cancer and all. but we have the disadvantage that we pigment much faster. So any kind of scarring or any skin concern will leave a mark typically, and that fades over time, but you might also need treatment to get rid of it sooner.
Another concern that a lot of us have is how do we, afford skincare? Because everything is really expensive and really hard on the pockets of youngsters. So would you suggest are there some basic things that are, without mentioning the brand, are there some basic things that we all should sort of have, or how safe is it to also sort of
skincare is expensive, and expensive doesn't necessarily translate to the best. Like a lot of, for example, although I shouldn't say this, but it's not politically correct, but a lot of the most expensive brands that you find at airports, all the Estee Lauders, the Cliniques and all, while they are good moisturizers and they just help, but they will not ever achieve the effect that a very good Indian skincare product will do. But you must see your dermatologist for them to be able to address your concerns and your compliance as well along with that. So that's what I say. It does not translate to, while they're good products and they'll feel very good, but doesn't mean that they will necessarily help pigmentation or aging or on your body or stretch marks or rosacea. You've got to have the right advice for that. For example, you can't treat rosacea over the counter. Rosacea is sensitive skin. It's basically redness of the skin, which is because of sensitivity of the underlying capillaries of the skin, thinning of your skin. Giving you an example, even acne. In this day and time, we have amazing treatments for acne. You should not have acne scarring. So I'm quite stunned when I see people have terrible acne scarring, because in this day and age, we have such amazing treatments for acne that we should not be seeing scarring. So I'm just saying that it's not such a great idea to treat yourself over the counter for all of these concerns. And there are good skin products available which are not necessarily very expensive.
So Varda has a question on the chat. How good is ice rubbing as an effective anti-aging treatment?
So it's good because it closes your pores, with pores which become open. You'll find that they suddenly become smaller. That's a good thing. It's great in this heat for sure. I mean, when you come out from the sun and but don't do it almost immediately, and don't do plain ice. Have something, just don't rub ice on it like that, because sometimes it just can become too much. You can even get ice burn. So, use like a glove or a thin piece of cloth to rub ice on it. So it's not a bad idea, but there's things called cryofacials and all also, which people do nowadays, because it improves it, and it also improves the microcirculation. So you suddenly your face glows.
Is there a specific treatment also to treat the blackheads and the whiteheads that we have?
Oh, absolutely. There are lots of great treatments for treating blackhead. Even in clinics also, you have medical facials which will. So sometimes you can obviously use creams, but a lot of times the comedones and all are so deep that you can't treat. So you might need comedone extraction. But please remember, always do it under medical supervision, because it should not scar you. So, the medical facials which you have nowadays will exfoliate, will extract all your dead skin cells, and they're just good for keeping your skin healthy, along with the topical treatments that we do for acne.
Ma'am, another question from YouTube. I'll just read it out. My doctor swears by aloe vera for sunburns and scar treatment. What are Dr. Soin's 2 cents on aloe vera gel for skincare?
So I love aloe vera gel. I think it's a great product, but I would not use a raw aloe vera plucked out from the garden, because I have seen people react to aloe vera. So another word of advice, while it's okay to use ice, but if you're using aloe vera, sometimes I've seen people have sensitivity to it, because it may not happen to everybody, but aloe vera is great for healing the skin and great for improving inflammation. That's one. Secondly, things like raw tomatoes or lemon, not a great idea to put on your face, because you can get skin burns. They're acidic products.
One thing that I've heard so many people do is they put toothpaste on any of their acne or pimple, and it just really flares badly.
Yeah.
We have a couple of very interesting questions. Manish has asked, does tattoo affect skin's health? And that's a question even one of our members had. Can you get your permanent tattoo removed without
Sure, sure you can, but I promise you it's a process. It needs multiple laser treatments. It's painful. It pains because we obviously have local anesthetic, but it takes many, many sessions and many months. And there are some tattoo colors which are not easy to take off at all. With the Q-switch laser is what is gold standard basically for it. And it takes a long, long time for tattoos to come off. So make sure that you want to keep it for life if you're now doing it in these times. The older ones don't come out very easily at all. The green older ones, which people used to do, they don't come out.
Do they affect your skin in any way, like just getting a tattoo?
Like if you've got on your arms or legs, no, you're fine. You've got something on in there. But occasionally people, the way that it can impact your skin is if you've got to make sure that you don't have a tendency to keloid or hypertrophic scarring. Because if you have that, then that can be a disaster because you can have scars through the needling that happens with tattoos.
We have a question from Sean D'Souza on how to treat acute dry skin.
Good one. So first of all, you've got to see, is it dehydrated skin or is it dry skin? So dry skin means there's reduction of sebum, and dehydrated skin means it's not hydrated enough. You take in drinking less water. So those are the two things. So moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. You've got to just make sure that you moisturize enough. That's all. And you've got to use the right kind of moisturizer with the right ingredients in it. And also avoid things which have too many preservatives like the sodium lauryl sulfates and all, which are known to sometimes aggravate any scaling because of dryness. So you've got to moisturize.
Saima is asking, sorry ma'am.
No, sorry.
Saima is asking, is skin tightening a good option for those with thin skin?
Yes, it's fine for anybody because what it's really doing is it's building up the collagen underneath your skin, which is everybody knows what collagen is. Collagen is this amazing protein in our body which gives strength and resilience to the skin, which we all hope to preserve for as long as possible, but we lose a certain percentage every year depending on our genetics, depending on our extrinsic factors responsible for aging. So sorry, what are they saying? I've just gone off track.
We on the skin tightening.
Yeah, so if it builds up collagen under your skin, the skin will actually thicken. So a lot of the procedures for skin tightening will actually build up collagen and take away the thinning of the skin. So people with thin skin definitely sometimes need the right kind of products or procedures to improve the thickness of the skin. And what happens with thin skin is thin skin tends to be more sensitive and it tends to age much quicker.
One question that I'm sure is on a lot of people's minds is, things like Botox and fillers is not really like, it's not a taboo anymore. Like it's not something that only celebrities get. It's the conversation has changed. We have moved forward from it. So what is your opinion, on fillers and these threadings? And do you think they harm the skin?
Gosh, no.
Question.
Done in right hands, so hear me when I say done in the right hands, they are all great treatments. So Botox, for example, is a wonderful treatment with predictable results. So think about it. If a child with cerebral palsy, people with bladder dysfunction, migraines, if it can be done for those in much higher doses, then for cosmetic purposes, it's absolutely great. But people who administer Botox must know their anatomy, must know where it's going, and it has very good natural results. So it should not. Only thing about all these is it should not look like a treatment is done. Fillers. I didn't talk about fillers, but filler is basically an injection which is made of hyaluronic acid, which is a natural constituent of the body. So when you do fillers is something that people think gives them apple cheeks, big lips, but no, they are meant to improve emotion. They're meant to improve your tired eyes, your look, your drooping corners of the mouth, your saggy look, your angle lines. That's what they really do. That's what they should do.
And again, this is a follow-up question to what you've just said, because these are like minimally invasive skincare procedures, right? So
Correct.
is there a right age to sort of get them? Is it effective for people in their, say, early 30s? Is that something that they should opt for if they feel like, or is there a right age at all for all of this?
For Botox?
Yeah. Or fillers, Botox.
So again, no. I mean, they're all safe treatments. So people will do, and again, like I said to everybody, nobody ever needs to do anything. They only want to do it.
Yeah.
But, Botox will sometimes, sometimes it's useful for people who clench their teeth at night. So, there's a lot of clenching of the teeth. So it helps to help that. So it's also more therapeutic, a lot of causes. So injection here reduces the clenching. So it's got a lot of therapeutic uses, Botox. But Botox is fine to do whenever you feel like the need. If you have, like, for example, a lot of people do it for these anger lines which come here because of excessive movement. And the first thing that people will always come for is because they find a lot of lines here. Because when you emote, you express yourself. It's your muscle movement basically, makes the lines and wrinkles come. So Botox is meant for dynamic lines which are there on movement. And fillers basically work for static lines or go deeper under the skin.
Raj Das has asked us on YouTube, is there a critical age before which one should focus on skincare? Or is there an age where you feel like it's too late and nothing really can save you now?
No, I mean, it's never late. There are options for every age, I find, because I deal with people of all age groups. But it's nice idea to start some skincare routine in your 20s or at least in your 30s, like a sunscreen, a good face wash, a good vitamin C serum, or, sort of good cleansing and makeup removal, or just a good moisturizer use. So I think it's also just nice to have a routine which gives you like a feeling of, like you've done something. So while you're doing something for yourself.
We have a question from Saima. It is said that melasma is common in women due to hormonal changes. How do we control it?
Melasma, oh my God, it's something that, which has been looking for cures for the longest time. Anyhow, so it's this pigmentation typically on the cheeks, which appears after childbirth, on the contraceptive pill, gets worse on sun exposure. And so these are the three main conditions under which it happens, and with hormonal changes also. So mostly it's in younger people. And there are treatments to improve it again. And it's also got other hormonal things. Sometimes people with low hemoglobin get it more. People who live in higher altitudes tend to also, because of the sun, because of the excessive sun exposure, tend to get it more. There are treatments available nowadays. But again, there are a lot of theories. There is oral medication, there is topical. Usually it's nice to have a dermatologist who's doing a combination of an oral medicine, which could be an antioxidant, which is helping you, along with a topical cream, and maybe a treatment also to help you.
A very interesting question from Arbab. Do Insta filters affect skincare routine? Do they keep people away from actual skincare? Actually caring for your skin? Well, what is your opinion on it?
That's interesting. So I don't know how they affect. I'm not sure I have an answer for this. It's like how they won't affect maybe you just think that, but then you're sort of living in an unreal world, aren't you? When you're just making sure that you look good only with the filter. So
Yeah.
if I have a photographer, so, nice for you to get out of the filter and, make sure that you have skin which looks great all the time. So that's quite an amazing thought, to have your skin looking good all the time, even without makeup. So you should be able to, get away from filters. Maybe getting away from filters might make you focus and take better care of your skin. Although I do think that people do less filters now because I feel like they look unnatural.
Absolutely, yeah. Also, ma'am, is like Manjul has asked us on YouTube, what's the reason for our skin turning really dull during summers?
Okay, so what happens is, you'll find that as you get older, collagen gets depleted in the skin. In your 20s, in your late 20s, it started. And the water that goes from the dermis to the epidermis reduces. When the moisture levels reduce, then typically you will find that the skin starts looking duller and thinner. It's a process of, aging, the environment, pollution, extrinsic factors, sun exposure, how much care you're taking of your skin, your lifestyle, how much stress you have. So a lot of factors impact dull skin. And interesting the question, because when a lot of people come, the first thing, what is your concern? Oh, my skin looks really dull. I should have more glowing skin. My skin should glow more. And I think now people just want to have naturally good skin, which is why they come. There is just so much talk about skincare.
Yeah. And just
I think you went off in between for a bit, but now we're good.
Yeah. So there is a question from Ritu Kapoor on what is your view on face yoga, because Instagram is full of face yoga tutorials.
Interesting. I don't do much face yoga, and I'm afraid I'm not. I think a lot of people who don't want to be doing any treatments to look younger or non-surgical facelifts think that so I presume it's just again, it's sort of manipulating, your muscle movements, which actually go down with age. But I think it'll help. But anything that is going to keep the muscles lifted through whatever effort, it can't be too bad. But I don't know if it's picked up to that extent for me to be able to say, yes, it's like the greatest thing. Maybe my information about it is very, very sketchy.
There is a question from Shelly Walia. Does using too much makeup frequently affect your skin? And I'm sure that's like something that 100 other people want to ask.
Yes, of course. I mean, using makeup doesn't impact your skin. You use good quality makeup and, just look good. That's fine. But if you don't take off your makeup at night, that's what impacts the skin. So that's where, you even if you're cleaning with a makeup remover, you still got to wash your face. You've got to let your skin breathe. That's one of the one thing for skincare, take off your makeup at night. It's fine to use makeup. People use makeup all the time. But it's just that you must take it off adequately and have makeup-free skin at night before sleeping.
Rituraj has asked on the chat, from a medical point of view, is there a difference between skincare for men and women?
Not really.
Because brands are trying to sell him charcoal-based face wash a lot.
Because I think the men have thicker skin, right? Which is good. They're protected. They don't have such thin skin. So, but they tend to take less care of their skin, which means that they tend to have more sun damage, especially golfers and all. I see golfers in their 50s, and they tend to smoke more. I mean, so those 2-3 factors, extrinsic factors, lifestyle factors, tend to age them quicker. But if they took care of their skin, they generally have thicker skin. So they'd be much better off then. No, there's not really any difference between the way what you should do for your skin. Everything that women's skin needs, men's also needs.
So we're almost at the end of it, but 2 quick questions before we wrap up. How important is it to do a patch test? Because, people do tend to take it a little lightly when we start using newer products. So in case our skin reacts, how important it is to sort of notice that and visit a dermatologist?
So I think the thing about the rule for this would be that if you're using products like, alpha hydroxy acid, like acids, like glycolic acid, salicylic acids, retinols, then, there are certain products like vitamin K, which is used very often in under-eye cream, which tends to cause more sensitivities. Then it's a good idea for you to patch test those. A regular moisturizer, perhaps not needed, although allergic reaction could happen to anything, or hyaluronic acid, not needed. But people have reactions even to vitamin C, and, I've had people who've reacted to hyaluronic acid. So if you're using a new skincare product and you have sensitive skin, one is if you're using the acids, the retinols, or the vitamin K, or if you have very sensitive skin and tend to react to products, it's a very good idea for you to patch test a product and see the result after 48 hours in your neck or under at the back of your ears.
So if you could sort of give 3 big points for everyone, irrespective of their age, of their gender, to take care of their skin, what would those 3 big points be?
So I talked about that, right? We've talked about how it's important for you to take care of you take care of your skin, it'll take good care of you. So make sure that you no compromise on sunscreen. There is no question about that. You've got to wear your sunscreen. And although a lot of people say that, so we are lucky that we have so much melanin in our skin, so we are protected against things like skin cancer. But nevertheless, the sun does so much damage to the skin. And then keep lifestyle factors like smoking at bay. I mean, I don't need to talk about the dangers of smoking. And then things like lifestyle, the diet, stress, sleep really impact the skin. So that's important. And, sleep with clean skin at bedtime. Very important.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining.
Also, please see your dermatologist. I think that's the most important. While there's a plethora of skincare products, and I know that they're all generally good, and because then a dermatologist will give you the right product according to your budget to make sure that your skin concern is addressed.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us on this very special webinar. It's been
it was a pleasure.
Really nice and sportive of you to take all the questions from both our YouTube and our members here on the Zoom. So
absolutely, my pleasure
to keep collaborating with you. And for those who've joined us, I just want to talk a little bit about how we do things at FIT, which is the Quint's Health vertical. To reiterate, we really understand, how challenging it can be in times like today to get authentic and scientific information about all things your health, because there is just so much misinformation and so many viral trends and all sorts of health hacks right out there. So we go the extra step to get you the right kind of experts for the topics that we would want to tell the story with. For example, if we are talking about heart, we do go the extra mile to get you the best of cardiologists to comment about it. So do follow us on all our platforms, on Instagram, on the website, and stay tuned to us as we bring all kinds of health stories. And thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.